Alright, so hello and welcome. In this Adobe Animate tutorial, I would like to show you a little bit more advanced if-else statement. So I am going to show you what we are going to be doing today, because it is probably going to be a little bit longer, so I want you to see what we are actually going to be doing. So this is it. So we are going to have something like this, and we are going to have this result button, and if I click on this result button, the text both is going to appear, and it means like both of these shapes are visible. And if I click on one of these shapes, it is going to disappear. And when only one is appeared and I will click on the result, I am going to get the text 1, which means that one of the shapes is visible. And if I click on this yellow, it is going to disappear. And when it disappears and I will click on the result, I am going to have that none of the shapes are visible. And this rectangle is for the refresh. So if I click on this, it is going to make both of these appear. And right now, if I would click on the result, I am going to get both. And if I unclick both of them and I will click, we are going to have none. Okay? And I created this very simple example to explain a little bit more advanced if-else statement. Because we are going to be using something like if, then else if, and then else. Alright, so hopefully you are looking forward, and I'm going to be continuing in the tutorial. Alright, so right now I am in the Adobe Animate, and I am going to choose some width and height, and frame rate, it doesn't matter, but what is important is that we want to have HTML5 canvas, because it is going to be with HTML5 and with JavaScript. So I'm going to hit create, and at the beginning I'm going to create some kind of shapes. So I will go to the oval tool, I will make sure that I do not have any stroke, and I'm going to choose some fill color. So I can go with this kind of yellow or orange, something like this. Then I'm going to change the color to maybe blue, like so, or purple, and I'm going to do something like this. And now what I want to do is convert them to the symbol. So I will click on this one. I'm going to modify, convert to symbol, or F8. And I can call this to be yellow, for example, and hit OK. And I will hit F8, or go to modify, modify, convert to symbol. And this one is going to be blue, even though it is maybe a little bit more purple. It doesn't matter, it's blue. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some kind of button. So I will get maybe color like this, and I'm going to do something like this. This look like strange emoji right now. I'm going to get some text with maybe white color, and I'm going to type in here result, like so, and I'm going to convert this to the symbol. So I'm going to highlight it like so, F8, and I can type result in here, and I'm going to hit OK. Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit more up, both of them, to make space, and I'm going to create text 3 times, and then I'm going to explain to you what we are going to be doing. Alright, so I'm going to go to text, I will get a fill, and the first text is going to be none, another text is going to be 1, and the last text is going to be bold, like so. So I explained this a little bit at the beginning, but what we are going to be doing is we will click on these shapes, and if we click on the shape, it is going to disappear. If we click on this shape, it is also going to disappear. And then we will click on the result, and if both of them are going to be still visible, my bold text is going to appear. If one of them is visible, this one text is going to appear, and if both of them are invisible, the non-text is going to appear. Alright, so now what is important is go ahead and create instance names. Because so far we have the library, and in the library we have this blue shape name, result name, and yellow name. So I will have to go ahead and convert this to the symbol, this text. So F8, this is none, F8, this is 1, and okay, and F8, and this is both, like so. And now, if I click on any of them, and I will go to the properties, we can see that we have the movie clip, and under the movie clip we have an instance name. And this is the name by which we are going to be targeting this in the JavaScript. So the first one I'm going to call yellowShape. I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, because the second one is going to be blueShape. So I'm going to type it like so, blueShape, and make sure that you type this correctly, or these names are arbitrary, but it's good to do not make mistake in here, because otherwise your code is not going to be working. This one I'm going to call non-shape, and I'm going to copy the shape at least name, so I do not have to write it all the time. So like this. This one is going to be one shape, like so, and this one is going to be both shapes, and I'm going to type just both shape. I'm not going to put as at the end, but it's up to you. And this one I'm going to type my result. All right, so here I am, layer 1. I'm going to create one more layer. I'm going to rename the second layer to be code. And what I want to do at the beginning is type all of these names in the code and comment it out. So I am going to explain in the second, but I am going to copy this yellow shape, Ctrl C. I will go to the code layer. I'm going to right click, choose actions, and I can go ahead and type in here, and I'm going to paste this yellow shape, and I'm going to put // at the beginning, and this means that this is going to be commented out, and when something is commented out, it don't do anything, and I'm going to scale it like so. Now I will click on this one, and I'm going to copy this blue shape name. If I click on this blue shape, it is going to put me to the layer 1, but I want to go to the code, so I will click on the code. Where is my yellow shape? I will create some space, and I'm going to type blue shape, and I am going to copy non-shape. By the way, if you want to close your text editor, you can click on this arrow. It is going to collapse. You can go back to your code and right click and choose actions, and it is going to open it one more time. So this one is going to be non-shape. I can type one shape, both shape, and the last one is my result. All right, and we are doing this because when we are going to be writing a code, we want to see it directly in here. Okay, so as I said, this is commented out, and none of this is going to be read by JavaScript. Okay, because if this wasn't commented out like so, this would create an error, because this is like weird code. So // is going to comment out one line. All right, now I'm going to create some event listeners. And hopefully you watched some of my previous tutorials, because I'm not going to explain everything in this tutorial, because I would like to be focused on this if else, which we are going to get into in a few minutes. So this yellow shape, so I'm going to copy this yellow shape, add event listener, which is method for click event and mouse over event and so on. So add double E event, or not double, but capital E event listener, then parentheses, then quotation marks, and in here I want to create click, and I want to call some function. This is arbitrary name that I am going to create, and I am going to call it yellow and capital F, like yellow function. I'm going to copy this yellow function. I'm going to create function with this name, yellowF. And maybe some of you didn't watch my previous tutorial, so at least a little bit. This means this is referring to the animate object, yellowShape is this name that we created, addEventListener is some kind of method, click is that we want to do something when we click, and this yellowF is the function which is going to be called when we click on this yellow shape, and then we are going to create this function which is going to be called. Hopefully makes sense. If not, go watch previous tutorials. So function yellowF, parenthesis, then curly parenthesis, and if I create one and I'm going to hit enter, it should create at the bottom the second one. And in here I'm going to create the code. By the way, the space in here doesn't matter, you can have as much space as you want. And in here I'm going to type this yellow shape. Now this yellow shape, like so. Visible is going to be false. As I said in the previous tutorials, if I am outside of the function, I am going to be using this, but if I am inside of the function, this is not going to be working. So I will have to go at the beginning and create some kind of variable. I'm going to call it the root, but this name root is absolutely optional. And I'm going to call this var root is equal to this. In here, instead, you can have anything. And then I'm going to replace my this inside of the function with this root. And right now it is going to be working. Otherwise, it wouldn't be working. So outside, you should have this. And inside you should have what you have in the variable. Alright, I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and if I did everything correctly, and if I click on this yellow, it is going to disappear, and it didn't, so probably I did something wrong. I'm going to right click and choose Inspect, and I will go to the console, and I don't have error, so I'm going to check what happened. Okay, I can see I misspelled this visible. This is something that happens to me a lot. I don't know why. So I have visible. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to type one more time. Visible. All right. And sometimes if you have a mistake, you are going to have an error in the console. I am going to explain it one more time. And sometimes you are not going to have error in the console. But I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter. And right now it should work, and it is working. And what I did before was right click, choose Inspect, and if you create some kind of error, usually here in the console, you are going to have some red text with explanation what is the error. But I do not want to go much in here, so I'm going to leave this. But here I am, I have this function, and I'm going to get rid of some of the space because I do not need it. And now what I want to do is copy this event listener and paste it in here. And I'm going to change this name yellow to blue. So this blueShape.addEventListener, click. And now I want to call function which is going to be blueF. And I'm going to create this function. And actually I can go ahead and copy this function, Ctrl C. Paste it in here, Ctrl V, and I will have to change the name, blueF, because we have blueF calling function, so this function has to have the same name as this one. And right now I want to hide the blue shape. So I'm going to type blue shape, visible is going to be false. I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and if I click on the yellow, yellow is going to disappear. If I click on the blue, blue is going to disappear. Alright, so one more time, just I want to make sure that you understand. We have this var root this, and this is because inside of the function we cannot have this, but we have to have this from the variable. So I'm going to create a space from there. Then we have event listener on the yellow shape, and then we have the function for hiding the yellow shape. and then we have even listener for the blue shape, and we have the function for the blue shape. And the order of this code right now absolutely doesn't matter. I can, not absolutely, but I can go ahead and put this. I'm going to hit Ctrl X in here, Ctrl S, and it is still going to be working the same. And I said Ctrl S because I wanted to save this, but you can save this later on. And if I put this, Ctrl X, below your function, like so, it is also going to be working, but I do not recommend it to do like so, okay? Because there are some kind of rules which, when the code is very simple, it is going to be working, but if you had more complex code, that could be some issue. But I just wanted to show you that if you have this at the top, it is still going to be working. All right, so right now I'm going to create an event listener for this result button. So it is called myResult. So I'm going to borrow this text, Ctrl C, put it in here, Ctrl V, and I'm going to Ctrl C and change the name of this, like so. So right now I have this, my result, it is the name of this button. I have addEventListener, click, and I can create the name of the function, which is myResult or whatever. I can call it myResultF, like the function. Okay, now I'm going to create the function myResult, Ctrl C, function myResultF, parenthesis, curvy parenthesis, and in here we are going to create some kind of if-else statement. But before we will do this, we want to, at the beginning, hide the text. Because if I hit Ctrl Enter, I have all of the text, none, one, and both in here. So what I'm going to do is, at the beginning, I'm going to write this non-shape. I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, non-shape, visible. I will have to make sure that I'm going to type this correctly. Visible is going to be false. And semicolons are optional. You can use them, you do not need to. I'm going to hit Ctrl D 2 times. It is going to copy the whole line. And if I get rid of this N, I have one shape. So this non-shape, this one shape, and I can type it in here, both shape. You can call it shapes. I called it shape to make it simpler. So right now, if I hit Ctrl Enter, they are going to disappear. All right. One thing that we can do for this text to disappear is we can put them to the function, because we want to reuse this code later on. So I'm going to call the function, and I can call this function to be hideText. Or you can call this function init, like initially, or start, at the start, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to call it function hideText, again, parenthesis, then this curvy parenthesis. I'm going to cut this and paste it in here. And I can just with tabulator click like so. And then I'm going to, because now we have the function, and this function is not going to be working because we have this, and we will have to change this to the root. I will show you that it is not going to be working, but we are going to do this later on. But when we have a function like this, nothing is going to happen. Also with these functions. Because if you have only function, this function don't do anything. You have to call the function. And these functions, yellowF, we have called them with this event listener. But this one, we do not want to call with any listener, with any click. We just want to call it. And you can call it just by typing hideText, it is name of the function, and parentheses. Okay, So this is going to call the function, but right now if I hit Control Enter, it is not going to be working because we had this text with this. But if I'm going to change them to root, all of them, like so, you are going to see that it is going to be working if I did everything correctly, and I did. All right, so like this, and now we can go to the bottom to our function myResultF, and hopefully you are not exhausted, because right now it is this important part about this if-else statement. It took some time to get in here, but I'm going to type if parentheses, and I'm going to type, I'm going to copy this without the semicolon. So if root.yellowShape.visible is false, and one thing which is very important in here is if we are in the function and we are setting that blue shape is going to be not visible, we are going to put one equal sign. But if we are in this if and in the parentheses, we are comparing this. And if we are inside of the if, we need to create a double equal sign. So if root.yellowShape.visible is equal false, okay, there is even option to have this equal sign 3 times, but that's a little more advanced. I do not want to go to that stuff, but you will have to have this 2 times because you are, as I said, comparing this. So if root.yellowShape.visible is equals to false, and there is this sign and you can get this on the number 7 with the shift. At least I have it like so. So if you don't know, just try to figure out where you have this one. But this is and I'm going to copy this blue shape visible, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to create a little bit more space so you can see. And yeah, so this means like if root.yellowShape.visible is false, and so it's like at the same time root.blueShape.visible and one more equal sign is false, then I want to have one of these text visible, and I want to have this non-shape visible. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and I'm going to paste it in here, Control V. So hopefully you understand, but I will try to explain one more time. So if I click on my result, and both of them are going to be hidden, so it means like the yellow shape is not visible and blue shape is not visible. In that case, I want to have root.noneShape, it is this none, to be visible. Okay, I believe that this makes sense. Then I'm going to continue, and I'm going to type else if, I'm going to create parentheses, and inside of this parentheses I am going to copy this like so. But now I am going to, instead of the false, choose true. So equal true and equal true. This means that if my yellow shape is visible and at the same time my blue shape is visible, what I want is I will create curly parentheses in here and in here. And in this case, I want to have both shape text to be visible. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it in here. And I will change this false to be true, like so. And then we have only one more option, because one of the option is that both of them are going to be hidden. The second option is both of them are going to be visible. And the last option is one of them is going to be visible and one of them is going to be hidden. So else, and now I'm going to type in here that one shape is visible without the semicolon, Control C, and Control V. Okay. This is kind of long code, so there is possibility that you are going to write something incorrectly. So hopefully you did it correctly, and hopefully I did it correctly. I'm going to hit Control Enter, and we will see. So I'm going to click on the result, and I am going to see both. Okay. If I hide one of them, and I'm going to click on the result, okay, it's not going to be working. And if I click on the yellow, and I click result, okay. So I have probably some mistake. I'm going to right click, choose inspect. I'm going to go to console, and I do not see anything in the console. So let me go to the shape, and probably I'm going to find the mistake. Visible is true. Alright, so I can see where I did the mistake, and it's very simple because I said that if root.yellowShape.visible is false and root.blueShape.visible is false, then root.noneShape.visible is false, and this should be true. Because right now, if both of these shapes are not visible, I want this text to be visible. And the same thing in here, this is again what I forget, root.oneShape.visible false, this should be true. Okay, so sometimes these very small mistakes, but when you forget to change false from true, can make your code to don't work. So Control Enter, and right now result both. I'm going to click on one, I'm going to click on last one, and none. Okay. One issue is that if I click on one of them like so, and then I click one more time, this both is not going to disappear. So what I want to do is copy this hideText calling function, and every time if I have this if, I want to firstly call this hideText, which means it is going to hide all of the text, and then I want to make one of the text which I want visible. Okay, so you will understand it right now. I have this if statement. If both of them are false, I want all of the text to disappear by calling this hideText. It is this function which make all of them disappear. And then I am creating that this non-shape.visible is going to be true. Then what I am going to do is in the second function, again, if both of them are visible, first of all, what I want to do when I click on the button is I want to make all of the text disappear, and then I want to make this both shape to be visible, and the same thing for the last one. So firstly, I want to make all of the text disappear, and then one of the text that I want, I am going to make appear. So I'm going to hit Control Enter, and right now you can see that if I hit result, I have both. If I unclick this one and I click result one more time, it is going to make all of the text which would be appear disappear, and appear only the one that I want, like so. Okay. The last thing that I want to do is I would like to create some kind of button at the corner which is going to make both of them appear again, so we can loop this as much as we want. So I will go to the rectangle tool. I am going to get maybe red color, and I'm going to create shape like this, and I'm going to hit F8. Symbol 1 is fine right now, and I'm going to call this to be myRefresh, for example. And I'm going to copy this, F9, and I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to paste myRefresh to the commented code so I can remember this. I'm going to copy one of these event listeners, like so, and somewhere at the top, but it can be also at the bottom, I am going to create this myRefresh. Not myRefresh. I'm going to copy this and paste it in here. So this myRefresh addEvent Listener, click, and I'm going to call this to be myRefreshF, and then I'm going to create function which is going to be myRefreshF, F, and again parentheses, curly parentheses, and in here in this function what I want to do is I want to make the blue shape visible to be visible. So I want to make this to be true, and the same thing for the yellow shape. So I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, and I'm going to paste this, Ctrl V, and I want to make this true. Okay, at the end I'm going to go one more time through all of the code with you to make sure that we understand everything that we have in there. So I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and if I click this, nothing is going to happen. But if I hide one of them and I will click this, it is going to make it appear again. And if I click both of them and I click this, both of them are going to appear. So I will click this one, result 1. I will click this one, result none. I am going to refresh them, result both. And like this. Alright. So yeah, we are done. And one more time I'm going to go through all of the parts that we have in here. So we have the first line, which is just our text, which is commented out, and these are just our names. Then we have this variable root is equal to this, and this is important for because inside of the function we cannot have this, and we will have to have root. There is option to have this inside of the function, but it's a little bit more advanced, so I do not want to go through that in here. Then we have this function hideText, which is going to hide all of the text at the beginning, and we are going to reuse this function later on, as you saw. Then we have this hideText calling, so we are calling this function. Then we have this refresh function, and this refresh function, what it is going to be doing, it is going to make the blue shape and yellow shape appear. So this is for the end, to make the blue and yellow appear one more time. Then we have the event listener for the yellow, to when we click on the yellow, that the yellow is going to disappear. Then we have the same thing for the blue, that the blue is going to disappear. And then we have this last function, when we have this if-else statement. So we have event listener on the myResult button. The function is myResultF. Then we have the function, and in the function we have if yellow shape is not visible and blue shape is not visible. Don't forget to have double equal sign. Then we want to hide the text, all of the text at the beginning, and we want to show the text non-shape. So if none of them are visible, we want to show the text that none of them are visible. Then we have else if, and inside of the parentheses we have if both of them are true. So if yellow is visible and blue is visible, we want to show the text both shape visible is true, and before of that we want to hide all of the previous text. And then we have the else, which is only the option that one of them is visible, because we have option that none of them are visible, one of them is visible, or both of them are visible. And in that case we want to hide the text, and we want to make the text that only one shape is visible to be visible. Okay, I'm going to provide this text, this code in the description, and maybe I'm going to provide the whole animate file in the description, so you can work with this one if you have any issue. Alright, so thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like. If you have any question, put them to the comments. Maybe if I know, I am going to answer, or if someone can know the answer, it can answer for you. And if you are interested in more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I am going to be creating more videos for Animate, After Effects, maybe Photoshop, Illustrator, and so on. Maybe some vlogs in the future, I don't know. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.